I'm old, and so I have these glasses. Oh, sweet. I'm being recorded too.
Sorry, for Shasta.
That's okay. And Kim.
And Kim. Hi, guys.
Okay. First of all, I'm not a doctor. I'm not in any kind of medical profession whatsoever. I'm a mom. I'm a mom just like you're a mom. 5 years ago, our youngest son was diagnosed with autism. This has led us on a journey that promises to be a lifelong process, but what we have uncovered along the way relates to every single one of us, and I am desperately compelled to deliver my findings. Our son was not born with autism. He developed it. Over time, we watched the changes, and over time, we are, reversing them. Okay? My conversation with you tonight, however, isn't about autism per se. My hope is to open your eyes and create in you a desire to lead your family down a pathway to health. So,
that was a pathway to health, not hell.
Did you say pathway to health? Health with a TH. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Or pathway to health if you're my husband. So, okay, so
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're doing beautifully, though.
Okay, I don't know where I was at. Pathway to health. I'm going to open up Pandora's box for you. You're going to look at things, if you don't already, which a lot of you do, you're going to look at things, everything differently. And this is hopefully going to be a lifelong process for you to learn and to find out new things. In doing research, and this is a total last minute presentation idea that I threw at Erin Marie yesterday. But in doing the research in this, we've been doing research on all this stuff for the last 5 years. And in doing the research over the last 24 hours, I've learned new things. So you just are going to find all kinds of stuff that's pretty much going to dismay you, but you can do something about it. Like, if you put your cell phone in your bra, you probably will get breast cancer. Good, Heather. Woo. Did you just put that in your hoo-hoo?
It's on the chair.
I went to the dermatologist
on my thigh
today, and I'm in the process of getting all the moles on my face.
That's okay.
Because they're all precancerous, and he said that the reason that they've all developed in this rectangular space is because that's where I hold my phone.
Right? It's no good.
I never use my phone.
I just called you out, Heather. That's right. And that's nice, isn't it?
It's okay. It'll go back there in like 10 minutes.
I know. Joe's cousin does the same thing. So, okay, wherever you live and whatever life you live, there are hidden toxicities absolutely everywhere. The National Institutes of Health estimate that 23.5 million Americans have an autoimmune disease. Okay, other groups estimate this number is to be closer to 50 million. That is roughly 16% of our population. To put it in another perspective, that is 4 children in your child's classroom of 25 kids. Our kids are sick. Kids. I mean, just in walking through the door, I wasn't even here 5 minutes, and y'all were telling me about how your kids are sick. And you know other people's kids that are sick. Kids, they're like in the prime of their life. You guys, you're in your prime of your life. You know? We're sick. There's a reason. So, to me, that's an astonishing number. And when you think about, it's not just 4 kids. That's a perspective. It's not kids. It's 4 people out of every 25. Okay, have an autoimmune disease. The numbers are growing for diseases that are caused by immune system dysfunction in our society. Between 2006 and 2008, 15% of U.S. children aged 3 to 17 were diagnosed with 1 or more neurodevelopmental disorder. Again, that's roughly 4 children, and this is a conversation about just children. This number is about just children. 4 children in any one 25-student classroom. A neurodevelopmental disorder. Neurodevelopmental disorders range from mental retardation to autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, learning delays, speech, and motor delays. 4 kids out of your kids' 25-kid classroom deals with this. According to the Psychiatric Times, a magazine written for psychiatrists, it is believed that genetics, this is the most important thing. Okay, I'll say that all night long. Believes that genetics play a 30 to 35% part in the cause of autism, and environmental factors contribute a whopping 60 to 65% toward this neurological disorder. 60 to 65%. That's for autism. And according to the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, environmental toxins are cited as a major cause in all neurodevelopmental disorders. So some of the most common problems that our kids have really are ADHD. Who doesn't know somebody has a kid who has ADHD or autism or speech and motor delays? It's rampant, right? Okay. So, did you hear that? In spite of your child's genetics, which is what it gets passed off a lot as, in spite of your child's genetics, without environmental toxins, their chance of getting a neurological disorder is reduced by 60 to 65%. If they didn't have those environmental toxins, their chances of getting one of those neurodevelopmental delays is reduced by 60 to 65%.
Wow.
That's significant.
So are you talking about like things like going outside?
Okay, so that's where I'm getting right now. Okay.
Sorry.
Let's talk. No, you're fine. You're totally fine. Let's talk about environmental toxins. Depending on your background, this phrase is going to mean something different to everyone. Like you said, going outside, and we will talk about different ones. For our conversation, the best definition I found was cancer-causing chemicals and endocrine disruptors, both human-made and naturally occurring, that can harm our health by disrupting sensitive biological systems. According to the EPA, and see, this is where I'm all scattered here. I'll find it. Stuff stuck together, even.
Kids.
According to the EPA, 7 of the most common household toxins are supposed to be taped right there, but I didn't have time. Okay. Pesticides. Welcome to Eastern Oregon.
Yep.
You know, this is where we live. You live in farm country. I'm really sorry about the pesticide situation, but you got it. Okay. BPA. Y'all have heard that? BPA. BPA-free plastics, right? And a lot of things are. But if it doesn't say BPA-free, guess what? It has BPA in it.
So like water bottles with water in them at the store?
Yes.
My
I
question
think-
is always like, if the government knows that this is something that's probably going to kill us down the long run, then why are we using it?
So, okay, so here's the thing. I think that we got too big for our britches. I mean, this is just total opinion right here. So we saw all of these, everything's about money, all right?
Yep.
Think of a friend that you have that you like, but you know that there's only so far you can trust them, right? I mean, everybody's got a friend like that too, right?
For
Okay.
relative.
Or 3 or 4, I don't know. Sarah's got a, I don't know.
I thought you
to
liked
read
me more
Dr.
than that.
Phil's book I got you.
This is-
That's right here.
That's the government. The government
Cut
is
them out.
that friend that you can't, that you like because they can do good things for you, but you can't trust them. And that's not, it has nothing to do with Trump, and it has nothing to do with Obama. And it's been going on for years, hundreds of years.
Dollar signs.
It is. It's all about dollar signs. So if the FDA approves it, who cares?
Yeah.
It's like Ronald McDonald approved it.
Well, it's
you know,
like
I mean,
I
it doesn't really
watched
matter.
It was like this live thing where this guy that had worked for NASA was on, and he was like, yeah, there are contrails, but they're just an experiment, and what they do to humans, we don't know, but we'll figure that out in 20 years from
Yes,
now.
they will. Won't
You know,
they?
and
Isn't
it's
that
like,
fun?
thank you for making me a science experiment.
you're a lab
for my
rat.
kids
Really,
to-
isn't motherhood the same thing?
Yeah.
You do your best with what
Well, it's
knowledge
true.
you have,
I
and
feel
you don't
sorry
know
for
what
my
they're going to
children.
turn into
Yeah.
in 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you hope.
I just think
There's only
whatever
so
I
much you
do,
can
they're going to
do.
have therapy at some point. So, sorry. I probably need therapy too, so whatever.
Got that on
We
tape
can't see the
too.
future, so I mean.
Dorene.
Well, it's true.
everything
There's
you do,
certain
I gotta-
things, though, that you really should mess. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh no, I agree. I'm just
So,
saying.
PBDE. So I just did the acronyms for these things because there was no way I was going to I probably can't pronounce half of them. What PBDE is, though, is a fire retardant. Did you know that so fire retardant has all kinds of things in it. I believe formaldehyde, it has antimony.
Is it in kids' pajamas?
Oh, yeah.
Because they all have that.
It's in their pajamas. It is illegal in the United States to sell a mattress that is not fire retardant. Your car seat that you put your children in or that you sit in has fire retardant on it. This has a lot of toxins. A lot of toxins in it. Antimony is a heavy metal. My son is toxic with antimony,
so that
it may be a contributor to.
It's from the vaccine, and it basically proves that your son picked up the autism from the vaccine.
I don't know if he did that.
Well,
I really
have
don't.
a little sister that she seemed for the most part normal, and then her mom never vaccinated her when she was a baby, and then around 2 years she got all of her vaccines like back to back as soon as they came to her. She's 6 years old. She doesn't use the bathroom. She's completely nonverbal.
Right.
And all sorts of things. Yeah.
You can reverse that. It's exciting news. It's so much easier to damage your child than it is to heal your child. That you can do it. So some kids have autism without having vaccines. Some kids absolutely get autism from vaccines. Vaccines don't have to be there in order for you to get autism. You have to meet your toxin. So just like that statistic said, 60 to 65% is your environment. And definitely lead and mercury, methylmercury, are the two really big ones for what they call encephalitis, which is your brain swelling. Your child's brain swells. But I'll let you know, I'm going to tell you how all of this relates to the autoimmunity. So I will. Hold on a second, though. Furniture. Okay, so there's another one. I can't pronounce it, but you've all seen it. PHTHALATES. Phylactates or something like that. It's a plasticizer. It's in kids' backpacks. It's in their lunch boxes. Your silicone, this is just a freebie. It's not on my list. Your silicone baking stuff. I'm so terrible. I'm going to ruin everything for everybody. Your silicone baking stuff is fine. It will not leach silicone into your baked goods unless you bake something over 305 degrees. And then it will start leaching silicone into your baked goods.
Also, if you do something like baked potatoes for like a couple hours at like 275.
You could probably do that. You
probably could weigh your toxins, because I was reading this that if you cook with aluminum foil over 310 degrees, that the aluminum starts to leach out of the foil into your food.
It's a good possibility. I don't know everything, and there's just like
I was just
stuff,
reading that
right?
study because my husband showed it to me because he was like, "Oh, you can't cook with this no more." And then we have that whole you have to find 5 ways to prove your theory. And
that's good. That's very good.
And so he brought me all of these articles and was like, look, every single one is from a different year, different people, and they all say if you cook with aluminum foil, you're poisoning yourself. And so now I'm like, great.
And it's very easy.
It's
so easy to do, you guys. I was researching all this stuff, and I looked down at my son. Right? It's true, though.
Because that's the simplest thing, too. And you think, okay, I'm a mom. I'm just going to rip this tinfoil out, cover this cookie sheet, cook the chicken nuggets, throw the tinfoil away, stick it back in the cupboard, and I don't have dishes. But now I have just poisoned my kids.
Yeah, for sure. So, when I was researching, and when I first started researching all this stuff, I just looked down at Bo, and I said, buddy, your whole world is toxic. I'm really sorry. And that's why when I say we're opening Pandora's box, when you start digging into this stuff, which apparently a lot of you have, when you start digging into it, you're going to find stuff, and you'll drive yourself nuts. I mean, tonight I went and got a coffee at Antlers. Probably things in there that poison my body.
Crap, don't tell me that. I love Antlers.
I know,
I'm terrified.
You have to not make yourself crazy. You know what I mean? You do the very best you can. You try to say no whenever you can, and that's what I try to do. I love candy. I love pastries. I love all crap food. I love crap food. We don't eat crap food. Not generally. Not on a regular basis. We just don't. Because it's bad. It's really bad, and I'm trying to hedge my bets in the other direction. Okay, so one of the other things that there's everyday toxin is, I call it PAHS, P-A-H-S. You can get that from secondhand smoke, diesel exhaust, wood burning when you like grills, like meat on the grill. Like, I'm never going to stop that. The char actually has PAHS in it. But the worst one, in my opinion, this is the one that I found out when I was just researching it today, is it's petrolatum. Petrolatum is what Vicks, that's the basis for Vicks. It is a toxin.
The actual vapor run?
Yeah.
Well, I need petroleum.
Vaseline.
Yeah.
The lip
petroleum.
balm, like chapstick.
It's horrible for you.
It
Yeah.
intentionally dries it.
Right? I just learned this. I did. Just today I learned
researched
this.
that. I know what you're talking about, and they put it in chapstick because it dries your skin out. So
It's supposed, I know, it's supposed to actually, have you ever gotten chapped lips? I told my son that. I said, that's why I always got chapped lips every time I use chapstick. Because it dries your
yeah,
skin
so
out.
that you keep buying more. And you
I
keep
guess, I
using
don't
it.
know. I don't know. Arsenic. I can't remember, I was going to look, but I have, I think about 17 times the allowed amount of arsenic in my system. I am arsenic toxic as a result of that. My liver function is, I'm guessing, pretty low. I have suffered for the last 6 years with extreme exhaustion. Like, there are days when I could literally sleep all day long. I'm a homeschool mom. I have 4 children and one with special needs. I can't afford to sleep all day long. I am exhausted 99% of the time. But now through curation, which is a subject that we're not going to get into tonight likely, but I am starting to get rid of that heavy metal in my system, and I'm starting to heal. And I have energy. Not a lot, but I've got, like, I know, I'm excited. It's awesome. And that is in your drinking water. It's a contaminated water from runoff from orchards. So I'm guessing it's like out of pesticides and out
Drink
of
up.
herbicides, whatever it is that they do with orchards. I don't know. And the other one is percolate or okay, put my glasses on. Perchlorate, which is also poison in your drinking water. Those are what the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, people who are not going to give you any information unless they absolutely have to. That's what they say is in your world that is an everyday toxin to you and to your family. So
Is that why in some situations, like when you're drinking like tap water, it kind of tastes metallic?
Yellow. Like, I've
Yellow?
called this city here 3 times because I live on Z, and my sink water has been yellow for probably 2 months, and they're like, oh, it must just be the well keeps getting stirred up. And I'm like taking
Gross.
pictures, going down to the water department, being like, look, okay,
Yeah.
the water's almost as dark as my pee. There's
Gross.
something wrong. Yeah, like there's something
well, it could
wrong
be your
here.
pipes or anything,
Yeah.
but those things are, just
But
when we
that's
lived
supposed
in
to
town,
be
we
safe
just
water
did.
for me to drink.
But the
and-
amount of chlorine is
Yeah.
not safe for you to drink. You know what I'm
And,
saying? Even if
yeah,
it's clear,
so-
that amount of chlorine isn't safe for you to drink.
No.
That's bleach. And something else I learned, because I want to know what's the difference between bleach and vinegar as far as sanitizing, right? Vinegar wins. It kills E. coli and it kills salmonella. So if we've been for years, because we're cheap, actually. This is why we started doing this stuff, because we were cheap. And we've been making our own cleaner with vinegar, water, and actually put not rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, which is a medical grade alcohol. I can leave it out now, but my husband was like kind of a naysayer, right? So I had to put that in there to let him know that it's all fine, it's all good.
Me too.
But now I can leave it out because he's definitely on board with all this stuff. So anyway, but it's better than bleach, and it's better for the environment because chlorine is a
Dry
toxin.
sheets are another one, but you can cut up an old towel and then put 2 or 3 tablespoons of the apple cider vinegar on that and then throw it in your laundry, and it does the same exact thing as a dryer sheet, except for you're not adding all the chemicals.
Or
to your
those
laundry.
balls. Have you ever seen those like pokey balls that are like rock hard?
Got like
or
5
whatever?
of those in my
Or
cabinet.
wool balls. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have
Yeah.
those?
No, I don't have them, but my mom used to use wool balls for our drawing.
Yeah, we don't do anything. We just suffer. So.
You can also put vinegar in your rinse cycle of your.
I gotta
Right.
catch it on rinse. And,
Okay, so
Mine won't let
let's.
me open it on
yeah,
rinse.
mine's
We usually
locked.
put it in this like the softener spot, like the
Mhm.
stopper softener. It's it'll eventually like deteriorate the plastic, but just plastic and vinegar don't go that great together. But.
Right. You didn't need a washing machine anyway. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about my journey. So there's, what can you do? I mean, literally, again, the more you research, the more you realize that it's everywhere, and you're not going to, there's no way you're going to get rid of all of it. It's just not going to happen. Huh? Yeah, and that's all you can do is make daily choices, moment by moment, of the things that come into your house. And there's a lot of, not so much like the 409 like cleaners and stuff like that, but there's other things like a drain cleaner or oven cleaner. Those are hazmat. You can't just throw those away in the trash once you're done. You can't do that.
Yeah, I didn't
They
know
have to
that
be
until
disposed of
the
as
other day
hazmat.
when I heard the thing on the radio
Well,
that
yeah.
was like, if you have these 500 different types of bottles, stop throwing them in your garbage because we have to call specific people, and you can only bring them out to the garbage service on these days. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
What kind of
You
bottles?
have hazmat in your
Drano,
under your
bleach,
sink.
oil, like anything
Yeah.
that you can't basically drink that comes in a plastic container, cannot throw them in your garbage because then they have to sort through them and separate them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but you're cleaning things with that.
I'm not.
It's hazmat. Right? Right? It's hazmat, but you're cleaning stuff with that. And you think you're the best mom ever.
I was just looking at the back of the Clorox thing, and I'm like, I
Yep.
can't even pronounce the stuff that's in
Which is
this.
the key right there. If you can't pronounce it, you probably should not be
Yeah.
buying it.
I don't like I'm
I mean,
spraying it all
okay, so
over
with
the counter,
chlorine,
and then
you can use some of that stuff, but the key is to use it like last, to not use it first. And we grew up using it first,
Yeah, it's like medication though too.
for sure.
If there's natural ways to do it, why wouldn't you want to try that
Because
rather
people
than
don't know.
rather than just giving in and doing everything the
Well,
doctor
like
tells you
today,
right
I
away?
was having this conversation online, and my friend had shared something about vaccines, and then this other person just automatically jumped on and were like, people don't die from vaccines, all these bad things don't happen, and we're like, no, you know what, they don't put it on Fox News, because if they did, people would stop vaccinating their kids.
Well, and the vaccines
You
is just
know?
a hot. You
It's
either
a
are
hot
for
topic.
it or you're not.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
it's
But
just,
I mean,
and
it
that's why I
goes
always
with
just
the
say, you know
whole-
what? As long as you research it, I don't care what you do.
That was our thing, and I was explaining to him, I'm like, okay, well,
It's okay.
it goes hand in hand. Well,
You're
this
not a
person was
heathen.
anti-vaccine.
We don't need the flu
And they're like, no.
There's-
And I'm like,
Hi,
okay, but you're
beautiful.
still
How are you?
contaminating them by giving them this or that, or, spraying
Is that
all
your
these
cookie?
chemicals all over their
But
toys.
people don't.
doing
That's
all
the thing
this
is that
stuff.
people don't know because 5 years ago. Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit of what my journey is. You can't throw out your kid's car seat. You can't,
Right.
now everybody can go buy brand new furniture. Even now, I bought leather furniture. I was in a position to be able to buy brand new furniture, and I had the choice. I wanted to buy something natural, natural fibers. So I'm like, okay, leather. I could either get aniline or semi-aniline. Semi-aniline means that it has a polyurethane on it, but if I get aniline, then aniline, if my kids put their popcorn hands on it, the little greasy popcorn, that's there forever.
Yeah.
So what do? You have to find the balance. You just have to, and otherwise it'll be nuts. So we started our journey started when my husband actually found a what happened? What's wrong, Lexi?
Oh, no,
She didn't remember I was here.
I couldn't find Brooklyn and forgot she was
Oh. And you know what? She fed her a cookie to cry because it's red.
Oh, my mom.
So our journey started when my husband actually heard a radio interview with Jenny McCarthy. Anybody know who Jenny McCarthy is?
I've heard of the name.
Okay, she is a Playboy bunny. So for me, she's very hard to take seriously, but she is a huge advocate for autism. I know, like, you don't care, and she's just like, whatever. It's all good.
I'd be a Playboy bunny if I could. No, I'm just kidding.
Seriously. They want me. It's
I'm
all
kidding.
good.
That's not on film.
She probably is. She probably
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You probably are. 5-year-old bunny.
No, so her son got autism.
I'll edit that out.
And he was fine. He had his vaccines. And again, not every child gets autism from a vaccine. So, but he did. And she met up with a biomedical healing doctor, and they did, just a gamut of things. Because it turns out that these kids are sick in their guts. Okay, so does anybody know where your immune system is? Anyone?
Where your what?
Your
Immune
gut.
system.
In your gut.
It's in your gut. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just learned that the majority of the serotonin
It's in your gut.
Or on the floor now.
through your stomach to your brain, and you have
Yeah.
to release more serotonin from your stomach than you do from your brain. And I was like, that's why I like to eat. So
Yeah, see? So if your gut isn't healthy,
Yep.
or if your immune system isn't healthy, you're going to have some gut issues. So we found so then from the Jenny McCarthy interview, we purchased the Jenny McCarthy book.
Ooh.
Her and her doctor, Jerry Kurtznell. I know you can tell it's totally dog-eared because I read it all the time. And we pulled from that bits and pieces of information that we could use to help our son.
Oh, her.
That set us on our journey to learn how all of that affects our kids. So we went from trying to figure out what biomedical things we could do for him. We realized that he had candida overgrowth, and so
That's a huge one. That's a huge one because that's in your gut and it can cause heart attacks.
Candida is a gut flora that's supposed to be there, but it rages out of control when your immune system doesn't keep it in
check.
And it caused Boaz would have he would be up for 3 hours in the middle of the night laughing. Oh my gosh, really? Insomnia and giggling. Guess who didn't want to do that? Me. So it was awful. He would chew on everything. My husband is a railroader. He'd chew on his boots. It was like creosote and whatever nasty. Like, it was gross. He'd chew on everything. We didn't allow him to chew on the boots.
did he ever have white patches in his mouth?
He didn't. But that's the same thing. Thrush.
Yeah.
Because my
Right?
my daughter always I can show you a picture. Like, her mouth is white and yellow all the time, patchy. And I'm always asking the doctor, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know." And I'm like,
Okay.
her tongue has like a half an inch of white stuff.
Okay, so
on
write
it.
down this word, oregano. You can get oregano oil, like just oregano essential oil, and you can get a medicine dropper from, what do you call it, from Nature's Pantry. And you can mix some oregano oil with olive oil, or you can just buy oregano.
I use doTERRA and Young Living oregano. I mean,
You can't
The
use
other-
straight oregano because it will burn your child.
I just know
That's not
anytime I
kind
use
at all. So
I've had like cold sores and stuff gone the next day.
yes.
Or is that Melaleuca?
So Bo gets he gets oregano oil on his feet every night. He gets oregano oil during the day. But then what we learned, okay, so we think we're at the beginning, right? If we can get rid of his candida overgrowth, then I can teach that boy anything. He can focus, he can pay attention. It's like being a drunk, really. Sometimes he's a silly drunk, sometimes he's a mean drunk. But this is all producing all these gases and stuff. And if we deprive his gut of carbohydrates and sugars, which is what candida grows off of, then he'll vomit. So he'll have what's called a Herxheimer reaction, and so he'll detox. And so all that stuff will die off and he'll start vomiting it out. So that's how we know for sure. Don't ever do that. That's not nice. Because we learned that it was not, that's pretty hard on the system. So you have to do it really, you'd have to kind of a little slower. Yeah, so don't do that. Learn from us. Don't do that. But you can limit their carbs and that kind of thing. But when we got rid of, even for just a few days, when we would get rid of the Candida, he was the most focused child. He was no longer, and you've seen autistic kids, just totally spacey and running around, and they're off in their own little world. Not this guy, not when his Candida is under control. We couldn't keep it under control. You can give him harsh prescription medications, which we did. We had to convince the doctor. Thank goodness, she's been very good to us. But he couldn't be on them because they're very hard on his liver. And so we had to find an alternate. But anyway, that led us to the next step. So we think we're at square one, only to find out that we're not. That Candida is there, that Candida overgrowth is there because it's protecting his body from something. And what that was is a heavy metal toxicity. And he has arsenic because he probably got it from me. And he has antimony, which is like if you reload your own bullets. So we stopped him from reloading his own bullets at the age of 3. I don't know. He never did that. He never did that. So we discouraged that. No, I'm just kidding.
It's quite the hobby.
I don't know where he got antimony from. Other than actually we do. It's in all the fire retardants, which is everywhere. So my husband actually read a statistic. If I ever move out of the country, become one of those expats, you know, have you heard of those? People who hate the United States, so they leave. I'm going to New Zealand, just FYI. Because they're like on the cutting edge of all this stuff. But they didn't even drop. They eradicated their SIDS, right? Like, they gave certain people, a group of people, a cover for their baby's mattress, and it blocked so that they couldn't, so the gases from the mattress could not come out and affect their baby, and that their SIDS rate was 0.
So did they start making different types of mattresses?
It may still be the rule in New
Well, you still
Zealand
have to have the...
In the United States, it is illegal to purchase a mattress that is not fire retardant. Okay. That is not
a
toxic.
special kind of cover, or was it a special kind of cover?
I don't know. He read it, and he just told me the information. So that's something to look at. See?
Yeah.
Everything is something to research. You find out for your own self, and that's really, really important. I'm not the be-all, end-all in any way, shape, or form. But you know what, Erin? But you're not, because you find out. Because who thinks that?
Well, and that's the thing is we have no idea about this. No mother does, and then you meet another mom, and then you have that conversation, and then you meet another mom, and then you have more conversations.
The only reason I know this is because my son has autism. Yeah. That's it. That's the only thing. And that's the only way I could come up with, we started researching